For the past 4 years, Jeff Bezos has topped Forbes' billionaire list. He was seen as the first person who could potentially become a trillionaire. But now we have a new king in town. He is none other than Elon Musk. His net worth is estimated to be between $220 billion and $300 billion. Depends on how you are counting and, most importantly, when. This guy is so influential that when the world realized that he had purchased a 9.2% stake in Twitter, Twitter shares spiked by almost 30%. Even though it's peanuts for him, Twitter stock has been somehow struggling. Unlike its competitor Facebook, which has nearly monopolized the industry, Twitter has grown gradually without acquiring any major players. Twitter's valuation is a fraction of Meta's, but I guess that's going to change in the near future since I want to buy the entire thing. He holds significantly more shares in Twitter than Jack Dorsey, the co-founder. I guess at this point, no matter what he tweets, they won't be able to ban him since he is the single biggest shareholder of Twitter. And now, since he is pushing the idea of turning Tesla into a robotic company, Tesla's valuation could spike again. I guess when SpaceX successfully completes a mission to Mars, SpaceX will go public, raising Musk's net worth to $1 trillion. It seems like it was his plan all along. He is probably the most influential person on the planet. He can instantly, single-handedly, influence the price of Bitcoin, destroy or raise any stock, or be taken seriously when he challenges Putin to single combat over Ukraine. But how do you become as wealthy as Elon Musk? How do you make $300 billion? I guess the answer is simple and straightforward. I don't know, you were probably expecting a different answer. But if there was a way or a clear guide on how to build a $300 billion empire, we would have had many more billionaires than we do now. But most people would be satisfied if they could at least get out of the paycheck-to-paycheck lifestyle. The internet is filled with financial tips and suggestions that you can use to escape the rat race. But all of these suggestions are secondary. There is no way you can achieve financial independence without developing this one habit that we are going to explore in this video. If you are able to integrate this habit into your life, then you will certainly do better financially. Give this video a thumbs up and let's dive in. Have you ever felt, at the end of the week, how fast the week has passed? How about this? Have you ever wondered at the end of the year, how on earth did this year pass so quickly? Of course, you did. It happened to all of us. In fact, you've probably asked yourself that question every year. Have you realized that more than 2 years have passed since the beginning of the pandemic? Remember how everyone was freaking out because of the pandemic and how everyone was hoping that 2020 would end as soon as possible. However, 2022 proved to be even more catastrophic. The reason you feel that time flies so fast is because you spend it unconsciously. The moment you start paying attention to it, it slows so much that a minute feels like a year. Remember that one boring teacher whose classes were so boring that you would check the time every 5 seconds, hoping for the class to end as soon as possible. But a minute of that class would feel like an hour. The same applies to spending money. Most people spend their paychecks unconsciously, the same way they spend their time. That's why a few weeks down the road, they start wondering where all of that money went to. How did they spend it? That's why the first step to financial independence is to always be conscious about your spending. It doesn't really matter how much money you make. If you are not conscious of your spending, you will find your bank account empty at the end of the month. There will always be a reason to spend money, just like there is always something to waste your time on, like scrolling through social media. That's why developing a habit of conscious spending is the most important habit you should focus on. But here is the catch. What usually happens is that people ignore little spending and often focus on the big ones, believing that a penny here or there would not make a difference, which is a misconception. When you check your social media, you don't spend hours, maybe a few minutes, or 10 minutes at best. But at the end of the day, those few minutes turn into a few hours. How about at the end of the week or a month? People, on average, spend 147 minutes a day on social media, which translates to 73.5 hours a month. So it doesn't really matter how little you are spending. Make it a habit of asking yourself one simple question before spending any money. Do I really need that? Do I have to spend this money? Can I solve this problem without spending this money? What often happens is that you will find yourself in a position where you don't have to spend money. I had the habit of buying useless clothes. I mean, every time I see a t-shirt with something cool written on it, I would buy it. But then I would wear it once and that's it. Take a look at your wardrobe. At best, you probably wear about 20% of your clothes. The rest are just there. Why did you buy them? If you had been conscious of your spending, you probably would have asked yourself, do I really need to buy this shirt or pants that I would never wear? That's why most people don't invest, not because they don't have the money, but because they are unconsciously spending most of their money on unnecessary things. It might seem difficult to be conscious of your spending, but remember, humans are creatures of habit. Whatever it is, do it for 3 weeks and boom, It will become a habit. Waking up at 5 a.m. every morning seems super difficult. But do it for 21 days in a row and it will become as easy as waking up at 10 a.m. Your brain will automatically think if you have to spend money on that or not. To make it easier, make sure you always have a budget. It's really difficult to control your spending when you don't have exact numbers in hand. I know it's exhausting to always have a budget, but let me tell you a secret. There is no other way to financial freedom without budgeting. Just go and ask any millionaire. He or she will tell you that they budget all the time, even though they earn millions of dollars. So if you are on a tight paycheck, you should budget every penny. It's not really as difficult as it might seem. You are not going to go on an adventure every single day, especially if you have a stable job, which means you can easily predict your spending. Some bills never change, such as rent or internet. They are fixed, so pay attention to your spending and see if it changes. If you enjoy getting a cup of coffee every morning from Starbucks before getting to work, no problem, but make sure you don't exceed it. The challenge is when you go on a vacation or hang out with friends. That's when the real money draining starts. I know that it's frustrating to constantly count every penny, but if you do not, you will forever struggle financially. So focus on maximizing your income to be able to raise the bar higher and be comfortable spending much more while not being worried. By the way, apply the same strategy to your time and suddenly you will have the time to get a side hustle, build a business, or even constantly improve yourself if you are trapped in a 9-to-5 job. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.